Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar, Dashboards 101. We're going to get started in just another few seconds to give people a chance to adjust their audio settings. Just a moment. Okay, thanks for joining today's TIBCO Jaspersoft webinar, Dashboards 101. This is actually the first of 3 webinars in a series. The second webinar is Jaspersoft ETL, and the third webinar is REST APIs. The level of these webinars is for beginners, so to help you get started with dashboards, what they are, how to use them, and how to build your first one. So I'm joined by Scott Anderson. He's a senior solutions consultant working with prospects and customers. He's been working with TIBCO Jaspersoft for over 3 years and has worked in the software industry for over 30 years in his career working for companies like HP. So you can type in questions at any time. We're going to read off a few live and answer some in the chat room as we go. And yeah, with that, I'll hand it over to Scott. Thank you, Scott, and welcome.
Thank you, Ernesto, and welcome everyone to Dashboards 101. I'm looking forward to showing you a little bit about dashboards and talking about dashboards. And well, let's get started. Today, everyone uses data. You see data all over the place, on LinkedIn, on Mint.com, Strava. You see some of the examples of how data can be used. One of the key ways of using data is to present that information in an easily consumable way, and that involves dashboards. Now, when it comes to dashboards, the whole idea is to get the information in the hands of the users that need it. So today we're going to start out talking a little bit about the concepts and some of what makes up a dashboard. A great definition by Stephen Few, he says that a dashboard is a visual display of the most important information needed to achieve one or more objectives, consolidated and arranged on a single screen so that information can be monitored at a glance. Now that's a lot of words, but there's some key components of this definition that I want to talk about. First off, dashboards contain information, and it's usually the most important information for your users. But it's more than just information. It's information that's targeted at specific objectives. You have a reason to get that information in the hands of your users. To facilitate the easy consumption of that information, it needs to be in a visual display, something that the user can see and digest very quickly, and basically get the information at a glance. So a dashboard is more than just a report that has information on it. A dashboard has a purpose, and that is to convey the information very quickly. Now, dashboards can be made up of a number of different components. Most commonly, you'll see KPIs, or key process indicators, on a dashboard. Now, this is a visual representation of key factors within your business that affect your business. The key things that you want to convey, and you want to convey them in a visual way, whether it will be with a gauge, a chart, a stoplight setup. KPIs often form the basis of a dashboard. You can also put charts on the dashboard. Charts are really good at dashboards because that's a visual representation of the data, and it conveys that information very well. You can put tables, tabular type reports on dashboards, but that's easily consumed visually. That's not to say that you can't have tables on your dashboard, but tables are something that may not be as appropriate in a dashboard scenario. And that also depends on the purpose of the dashboard. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. And you could also put additional information on your dashboards. Sometimes you want supporting information like details about a product or details about a region or an area. Just things that round out the information provided by your dashboard. The last aspect of a dashboard is navigation. And being able to interrelate the pieces of your dashboard and navigate between the pieces is critical quite often in order to make those dashboards that you have more useful by your audience. So let's talk about how to assemble a dashboard. How do we put a dashboard together? Well, first off, you need to know the information that's required for your dashboard. What type of data needs to be presented on the dashboard? You then need to create those dashboard components that display that information. You need to create the charts, create the KPI indicators, create the tables and other components that you're going to put on your dashboard. Once those components are created, then you can very easily assemble those items together onto the dashboard. And you want to assemble them in a logical flow so that your users can flow through the information very easily and very quickly. Now let's pause. I want to go and show you how easy it is using Jaspersoft to create a simple dashboard. So we'll come out here. This is Jaspersoft's user interface. You can see a variety of things that you can accomplish. And we're just going to come out here and create a dashboard from scratch. Now this dashboard designer, in the middle here you have a palette, a design space where you can see what the dashboard you're designing looks like. Number of functions and buttons up here that you have options. You can control the properties of the overall dashboard. You can control how the grid, you can add a grid to the design space. Over on the left over here is items that you can put on your dashboard. This bottom part contains all the reports and visualizations you've created and saved in Jaspersoft. And you can use any of those visualizations in your dashboard. At the top is additional content that you can put on your dashboard. You can navigate this content using a list, or if you can leverage the hierarchical structure of Jaspersoft to navigate to a specific section where you have all of your content stored. But so let's start designing this dashboard. First, let's put some KPIs on there. So I'm going to grab my traffic light KPI and drag it over into my design space. Now, when you put items on your dashboard, you can control how that item will appear and function with relationship to the dashboard. With a KPI bar, you probably don't need to have a title on it. You can control how the component will respond to a resize of the dashboard by changing the scale to fit. Maybe you don't want it to do any kind of scaling. Maybe you want to always see the full dashlet. I want to make sure that I see the full width of this particular dashlet, the KPIs. And I can also turn on auto refresh settings. Now this allows the data to be refreshed on the dashboard on a timed basis automatically. That auto refresh can be applied both at the individual report level as well as the overall dashboard level. So now I've got my KPI bar up there. I'm going to resize this so that it takes up just the top here. So now I've got the top in my KPI bar. Now let's add let's add a chart. I'm going to drag this chart over, and as you can see, the chart fills up the available space. And so now I've got a chart out there, this product family chart. Let's add this time let's put some data on it. Now, as you add content to the dashboard designer, the designer says, where do you want it with relationship to the existing content? Maybe you want it beneath the chart or side by side. Let's put it side by side. And so now I've got the content side by side, and you have ultimate control over the arrangement of that content. So you can reposition it to make it fit exactly how you want it to fit. Now let's say you also wanted to put a little bit of additional content on it. Well, I can put, for example, an image on my dashboard. So I'll just grab this image and drag it over here and put it next to this bar. And the image, I can go out here and find, say I want to put my USA flag on my dashboard. Well, I can turn that image, I can go out here and find that USA chart and apply that add that to my dashboard. So now I've got this flag up here. I'm going to resize it down so that it fits my dashboard a little bit better. I can also control the properties of it. So maybe I want to make sure that I always contain the entire image. So let's go ahead and I've got the entire image. It's a little squished, so I'm going to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to make this my traffic bar, my KPI bar fit a little bit better. And as you can see, you can adjust the size of the different components very easily. Say you want to add web content. Anything you can access via a URL, you can add to your dashboard. So let's say we want to go out here and maybe access a wiki page about the country that I'm working with. So I can come out here and I can let's make this go to the country. Now this $P construct, this is a way that you can put parameters on various aspects of your dashboard. And those parameters can then be referenced and mapped to. And I'll show you how you can map to those parameters in a little bit. So let's go ahead and make that URL. So now I've got the URL out there, a little web content. Now, I mentioned that you need to have content created ahead of time so that you can put it on your dashboard. And that's usually true. But Jaspersoft provides you with the ability to create content on the fly. So this table, this crosstab, and this chart can be used, say I needed a product family sales chart to kind of add a little bit more visualization to this particular dashboard. I can drag that chart down here. And what you're seeing now is Jaspersoft's Ad Hoc Designer, which allows you to very quickly design content for your reports, for your dashboard. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the Ad Hoc Design tool. That's a topic for another webinar. But sufficient to say that all you need to do is drag the content. I'm just going to drag some information over into my design space to create this sales chart that I want. Make sure I see all my product families. Now, just a black bar is not very visually stunning for the purpose of a dashboard. So I'm going to switch over to a pie chart. And I can even do some basic formatting capabilities. So I can do things such as control how labels appear, how the axes behave. I can control what data points appear on a chart. I can even leverage Jaspersoft's charting library that basically Jaspersoft uses the HighChart charting library for its Ad Hoc Designer. And I can basically come out and use those HighChart properties to further alter the behavior of this chart, the formatting of this chart. So say I want to change the color scheme a little bit. So go ahead and change the colors on it. And okay, now I've got my new chart with a little bit different color scheme. So I come out here and I'm going to save that chart out into my dashboard. Call it my product family sales chart. And now I have a chart on my dashboard that kind of anchors it. Text areas, I can also take this text field and add it to my dashboard. So I can come over here and say I want just some text information. In this case, what I want to do is I'm going to create a button. And this button basically is going to, when you click on it, I can change the formatting of that particular of the button. Maybe make it a nice big format, and I can make it bold, align it. I could change the color scheme. Maybe I want the background to be a blue with the text as a white. Let's make it white. And so I can do a lot of things with this formatting of this button. And I can also make it so that I can trigger events using this button. And I can actually define parameters. So when you click on this, I want to be able to say I want to use this to reset everything so that it shows all countries. So I can set up a variable parameter that says all. But some of my reports don't respond to all. They need to actually have a country list. So in that case, I need to have a second parameter. I'll define a second parameter here that basically will list all of the countries together. And so now I've basically created these parameters, and I'll show you how to use those parameters here in a little bit. So basically, I've created myself now a simple dashboard. Now you can also, when you're creating and designing a dashboard, you have access to all the filters, and you could just as easily I could easily take one of these filters, drag it over here, and make a filter, basically an input control that I can then use to apply the product family filter in this case. And I could use that input control to drive the behavior of the dashboard. And I'm going to actually remove that for now. So I can just come over here in the preview mode. And so now I've created a simple dashboard, a simple visualization. I've got some data. This additional information, the web content, that'll show up here in a bit when I get some of the navigation in. But as you can see, it's now it's a fairly good dashboard, and we've just been able to create it very quickly. So that's how you can easy to assemble a dashboard. The next aspect is to build in some interaction, some interactivity into your report, into your dashboard, and to add some styling to your dashboard. Now, when it comes to interactivity, there's a variety of interactions you can do. You can have drill across. And what drill across means is you click on one item and it moves over to another item and affects the behavior of that item. So you click on a country on a map and it updates the related chart to reflect that country. You can have drill down capability where you click on a summary item and it updates a detail report. Or it may actually pull up a completely different report. You also have navigation capability where you can add buttons that navigate both within the dashboard as well as off of the dashboard. You also want to add in style. You want to have some control over how the look and feel of your dashboard basically how the dashboard looks and appears. A lot of times you want it to match the look and feel of your application. Well, that's something that's very important, that the style is reflected in the dashboard. Now let's go back to the demonstration and show you a little bit more of the features that are available in Jaspersoft. So let's come back and come back here to my design report. Now I mentioned that this all button, I want to use this as a button. And maybe I also want to use the flag I can click on the flag and it zooms in on the US sales. So I'm going to start out with this flag, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to turn on enable the hyperlink activity. And I can update the dashboard or have it navigate to a new page. I'm going to keep it on the dashboard. I can also I'm going to add a country parameter. And that country parameter is going to basically be USA. I can call this anything I want. I could call this USA, say. I'm going to make this the USA parameter. And now I'm going to take and go to my parameter mapping dialog where I can take, let's see. Let me come back here. I forgot to save that. That's what happened. So go back to my parameter mapping dialog. And now I've got that USA button coming off of the image, and I've got two content items coming off my text area, my all button. I'm going to take that USA and I'm going to map it to the different pieces of my report, my dashboard. So I can update the country for the traffic light. I can update the country for my profit report, my product sales report. I can update the country. And remember, I put that country on that URL as well, so I can update the country on that URL just as easily. Now, when I hit this All button, I also want to do the same thing. I want to update my traffic light KPI, the country for it. I want to update my product sales report country. And probably want to, let's see. Actually, let me go here. And the profit by country needs to have the list of countries to be able to populate it. And let's let's see, let's remove that. Then we also want to adjust the URL to have country. And this is going to just come up with a wiki page on what all means. But okay, so that's great. We've got the parameters mapped on this. Now, the other thing that you can do is the drill across and drill down capability. So if you use the ad hoc chart that I just created here, I can turn on hyperlinks coming from the ad hoc chart as well. Now this, I can, just like the other, I can have it update the dashboard or open a new page. And when I put hyperlinks on a chart, I have access to both the measures and dimensions that are defined for that chart. Come back to my parameter mapping dialog, and now I have that product family chart, the measures and product family, that I can now take and map the product family to my different inputs. So there's my KPI, there's my sales chart, my first sales chart. I want to get the detail sales report product family, and so I can map the click event coming from product family sales to the different aspects of my chart. So now I've got the navigation built in there a little bit. Let's go back over here to the preview, and so now I've got the navigation so that now I can click on the U.S. here, the U.S. flag here, and it updates all my charts to reflect the United States values. Get down here, get the U.S. information in my page. I can click over here on the non-consumables, and now all of the data is updated to reflect the non-consumables. I can click on the All button and have everything reset to the original settings of the values. Now, when it comes to style, there's a number of things you can do at the overall dashboard level. Here's the dashboard properties. So I can, for example, maybe I want a kind of a light blue background over my dashboard. I can control how borders appear. I can control how the colors appear on different aspects of the dashboard. I can turn on that auto refresh setting at the dashboard level. I can actually enable the ability to export a dashboard from the UI. So make those changes, and so now I've added a little bit of styling to my dashboard. So I can come back out here and see that styling reflected in my dashboard. So that's how easy it is to create some basic navigation in your dashboard, some styling in your dashboard. So now the next step is how do you embed the dashboard into your application? How do you deliver that dashboard, get the information in the hands of your users, which is critical. Now, the delivery of your dashboard depends highly upon why do you have this dashboard. A very common way is just for general information. Perhaps you have a big monitor as you walk into your office that's showing critical information about your business. Great use of a dashboard. It's kind of a static use. It's basically there. It might be refreshing on a regular basis. You can also have scheduled delivery. Maybe you want that key information delivered via email to specific users, specific scenarios. Or maybe you want the dashboard embedded in your application, providing the jump-off point or the leap-off point or the starting point for that interactive experience that you want your users to have. Let's go back and show you a little bit about how that delivery experience might occur. So let's go ahead now, and I'm going to save this dashboard. Let's call it my dashboard 101. And I'm going to save it down here in my dashboard 101 folder for my dashboards. So now I've saved that dashboard out into the repository. I can then come out here now, and I can pull up my list of dashboards, and there's my dashboard. There's my dashboard 101 dashboard. I can come out here and I can actually schedule this dashboard be executed. And so I'm going to create the schedule for it. That creation of the scheduled dashboard, I can have it identify when I want to start it. I can have it run on every so many days, hours, weeks, or I can do it on specific days of the month, months of the year, days of the week, even specific hours of the day. So I can schedule the delivery of this. If there's any parameters that impact the behavior of the dashboard that's coming in, I can do that here. I can also control how the dashboard is delivered. When you're running a dashboard, basically you get a snapshot of that dashboard, and it's delivered in a variety of image formats. Those files can then be put back into the repository. They can be sent to an FTP server or a host file system, or they can be emailed to a variety of destinations. And when you email it, you can include it as attachments. You can include it a link back to the repository, or have the dashboard files included as a link to a zipped up attachment. So that's one way of delivering your dashboard via schedule means. Another way is, of course, just coming out here and executing the dashboard in the reporting portal, where the user logs into the portal and they see the dashboard embedded in it, and it gives them that access to it that way. But I'm going to show you a very powerful aspect of Jaspersoft when it comes to that dashboard. So basically, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to come back in and add one more feature to this. I'm going to come back to my parameter mapping, and I'm going to create a new filter. Now, I'm going to call this filter my country filter. And this country filter will be used to feed data into my dashboard. So I can have the country coming from my application. I'm just going to tie it to this web page just for now. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, resave my dashboard, and then I'm going to take this dashboard and I'm going to embed it in a web page. Currently over here on my other tab, I have an application. This application happens to have a new dashboard page. Right now, it's giving me an error because I don't have any dashboard connected to it. But I've got basically the look and feel of this dashboard created here. So I'm going to actually come back here, and I need to get one piece of information with regards to this dashboard I created. So I'm going to come back to my dashboard 101, and I'm going to look and find the path for this particular dashboard. Now, every resource within Jaspersoft has a path that can be referenced by. So I'm going to come out here. I'm going to copy that. Now, I have over here the HTML for that web page that you were just looking at. Here's the HTML. Now, to embed this dashboard in this web page, all I need to refer to Visualize.js. Now, Visualize.js is a JavaScript library that Jaspersoft has and has developed that allows you to embed Jaspersoft reports and dashboards in your application. So I have the Visualize.js. I've got a JavaScript file that I can put some JavaScript in. And then down here at the bottom, the only other thing I need is a container. So there's my container, my dashboard container. I'm going to come back over here to my embedded JS file that I showed you earlier. And when you're setting up Visualize.js, you set up security. That security can be applied via username, password. It can be token. It can be very secure, and it can be leverage your security model. And then to set this report up, I set up some initial countries. I'll take that path that I've set earlier and just tape it into this dashboard creation JavaScript, which I've got the resource. I have the container that I want it to go to, pass in some initial parameters, and then I'm going to build in some parameters, okay? So that when I click on the parameter, it will send that parameter, the new parameter, to the dashboard and re-execute it. So it gets the new dashboard parameters and runs it. So that's all it takes to embed a dashboard inside your application. So I'm going to go ahead and save this out there. Back out to my application over here. I'm going to refresh it. See if I can refresh it here. Since it's JavaScript, I need to clear the JavaScript. So And so now I've got that page that I wanted. It's embedded in my application. It has the various functions where I can click on the different pages and it updates it. And I can also change this and update it, and it updates my information. Unfortunately, it's not working as smoothly as I want, but you can see that it's the connections are all made and it's all there. So let's go back and talk a little bit more. Let's pause right here. Basically, what you've seen so far is some basic questions. Some basic process of creating a dashboard in Jaspersoft. It's very easy to create, and some of the concepts. So let's pause for a minute and see if there's any questions out there. Ernesto, do you see any questions come across the chat?
I did actually. Yeah, there's quite a few. What we'll do is we'll take maybe 3 questions live now, and then we'll go back and answer the rest via chat. So the first one is around scheduling. So you showed scheduling on the UI. Can I schedule a dashboard using any of your APIs?
Yes, you can. Jaspersoft provides an extensive set of REST APIs. Those REST APIs allows you to not only create the schedules via the API, but you can actually execute the reports and dashboards via API. So you can have that, what you saw in the schedule, you could execute the dashboard directly via your application or using your scheduler, or you can leverage the scheduler that's built into Jaspersoft via an API.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Another user asks, is there any way to export a dashboard from one Jaspersoft instance to another, like dev to test?
Yes, there is. Jaspersoft provides a wide variety of export options. Let me actually show you a little bit of that.
It actually, I think he's talking about exporting like the, like a super user export of the dashboard, not like a PDF or a PNG.
Right. So basically what you can do is Jaspersoft has export capability built into it, where you can take this version of the dashboard, and I can export it as my dashboard 101. And what that does, it pulls all the necessary files out of all the necessary resources out of the repository and puts it into the zip file. And it allows you to then take that exported file and import it into another environment. Does that answer your question, I believe?
I believe so, yeah. Put in the chat if it doesn't. And then last one here, is there any way to resize fixed reports so that they fit into dashboards? So I guess reports made in Studio.
Yes, there are. In fact, the dashboard we designed has one of those specific reports. This tabular report was created in Studio over on the right. Now, when you create a dashboard, add a report to a dashboard, I showed you this with the KPIs, but basically you can control how that report will respond to a resize event. So I can say I always want the height of the report represented. So now it guarantees that the full height is represented, and it'll allow me to scroll if it gets too wide. Or I can do it, I always see the entire report. And so it sizes it to fit the entire report within the page, within the dashlet. And when that gets represented, as I resize my dashboard, what happens is that content that I've created will resize accordingly. And so now it maintains the full size of the report. And so you have control over that resize options and how that gets resized. One other thing that I didn't show you with dashboard is the ability to actually zoom in on a sub item. So you can actually zoom in and see the detail item using the dashboard viewer. So that's another aspect of our dashboards that's very powerful and very useful.
Okay, good stuff. So yeah, we'll take the rest of the questions via the Q&A here while we're wrapping up the presentation. So
Great.
Thanks a lot, Scott.
Thanks for your questions. Now, where do we go from here? What's the next steps? You've got a taste of what Jaspersoft can do with regards to dashboards. Well, our community site has a lot of information. That information ranges from information about our products, question and answer areas where you can go out and ask questions and get responses. We've got an exchange area. Jaspersoft's open source. The exchange area allows you to share solutions with other Jaspersoft community members. Our documentation is available via Jaspersoft community. We've got great wiki articles that tell you how to do different things within Jaspersoft. So a lot of information is available in the community. When it comes to the documentation, our Jasper Report Server User Guide has an excellent section on dashboards, how to use the tool to create dashboards and work with them. Also got other documents out there that allows you that describe how to use the REST APIs, how to use that Visualize.js JavaScript library. There's a lot of documentation out there, and it's very useful and very comprehensive. Also, if you saw as I was browsing through the dashboard, we have a number of sample reports that are out there available to you. These samples use sample data, and you can use them to see how to do a variety of things, a variety of functions. And some of these dashboards are they've got a wide variety of visualizations in them, a variety of things that you can use to basically see how to do various functions using our our dashboards. We also have a number of events coming up. We have our Embedded BI tour going around the world, a number of events that are up and coming. I encourage you to go out to our event site, our event page on Jaspersoft.com and see what's coming up. We also have our Learn from the Master series where we dive in a little bit more detail the various functionalities of Jaspersoft. And that's another great resource that you have. And of course, we have our I've referred to this book by Stephen Few about information dashboard design. It has a lot of good clues and hints on how to just basically design a dashboard, put a dashboard together. So that's pretty much what we've got for you today. We do have a short survey that we'd like you to take and make available to you. You can we'll have a survey. The survey link is in the chat box. Just go out there and take it and see how your software company compares, and you can see how those results compare to other respondents on the survey. So thank you again for your time. Ernesto?
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Scott. And yeah, happy dashboarding, everybody. Take care.